welcome back to the Draw Pod. It's me, your host, Elyse. In this episode, I'll be chatting while doing a drawing of some camera roll crumbs from the last week or so. Kind of the idea of just, picking out things from my camera roll that, don't get posted or whatever, and just kind of making some art out of it. It's kind of a bit like a journal entry. If you're new here, this is a visual podcast where I draw something and chat with you as I go. You really don't have to watch the video to know what's going on, and if you prefer to listen to it on a podcast app, it's available everywhere. If you want to watch the YouTube video, though, check out my channel, linked in the description of the podcast. Also, if you'd like to see the final image, check out my art Instagram, which is at Elyse_draws. So, I had just recorded about half of this episode and realized that I had not connected my microphone. Like, it was connected, but rather than my Premiere knowing that it should record from my microphone, it was recording from my computer and the audio didn't sound great. So here I am starting over again. But anyway, this week I will talk about taking a break from art and starting up again, and also just the feeling of not feeling like making art. But before we get into my art ramblings, I'm going to go through the weekly segments, some of the exciting stuff that's been happening. My segments are Life Update, Artist of the Week, and a Book Update. So, big news, I got a job, finally. Yes, I'm so excited to start it. I feel so much less anxiety and stress, and it's just really cool to know that I have a bit of a plan ahead of me, a bit of a path, so I can, work on my career and guide my decisions, where I'm going to live, all that stuff. So very excited, very happy, very thankful for the opportunity. As a result, though, I will be focusing on work for the next few weeks. So uploads will be less consistent, only if I'm really able to find time and it's easy for me to do. I'd like to be more consistent kind of with the Draw Pod because it's not too hard for me to do and it helps me keep making art. But stay tuned with that. Don't want to promise anything, but I'm really looking forward to, as a result of having this new job, I'll also have more space to work on my paintings and my art in my free time, now that I'm not like constantly feeling bad for not applying to jobs, which is kind of like I feel guilty, that's just kind of how I was feeling for the past year or so. Whenever I would, be making art, there would kind of be that thing in the back of my head that would make me worried about that. So, which isn't cool, but yes, happy about that. And other than that, I have been taking it easy this week because I feel like it. And my birthday is today when I'm recording this podcast, March 5th. You're listening to this tomorrow. But I just wanted to have a fun birthday week and just a fun time to myself. Other important updates, I went to the dentist and I do not have any cavities, so I'm very proud of myself for that. Very important update. And then also, it's an update to the world, but also to me too. Pokemon Diamond and Pearl are getting remakes, and I could not be more excited. That was like my most important game to me as a kiddo. Me and my little brother played it a lot together, and I am so excited to see how it turns out. I'm just excited at the prospect of it happening, and so that I just had a lot of really good stuff this week. Also, and then the third great thing that's happened this week is I am getting a puppy, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit later, but her name is Lulu. I am taking her home next week, I think, and so really excited about that. If you're watching the video of this drawing, she is included in the video, or like in the drawings I'm doing from my camera roll crumbs. So yes, now for the artist of the week that I want to talk about. Her name is Veronica Steiner. She is a Florida-based wildlife surrealist artist, and she does a lot of watercolor. That's kind of what she primarily works in, and she draws these swamp critters, so a lot of alligators and armadillos. There's possums, snakes, other lizards. Her work is so amazing. I really love her work, particularly because of the watercolor element of it, but also the fact that she has a lot of like heavy outlines on her work, which is what I like to do with pen. And also she just includes a lot of like botanical elements in her work. So you should definitely check out her Instagram, which I'm linking in the description of this podcast, as always. I really like also how, and a technique that I've kind of pulled from her is that she does like the drawing underneath kind of what she wants the piece to look like, and then like on top of that she'll have where she is working on the final painting. I don't know if I'm explaining this, but you put a sketch, basically the final drawing. This goes on a light box. You have a light box, you have the drawing underneath, and then you have your watercolor paper on top. And she's basically tracing over her drawing using paint, if that makes sense. I've done this method like once using Yupo for that orchid painting that I did, and I thought that was really fun, even though it was working on a really strange piece of paper. So I think that this would be a really great way to, or I think it would work out even better now that it's with like real paper. So I'm very inspired by her and her work, so you should definitely check her out. I love any and all swamp critters, any like kind of Texas, Louisiana, Florida kind of critters, roadkill friends. They're my favorites. Now for a book update. I am almost done with the autobiography of Malcolm X. It's so great. I'm really enjoying learning about his life from him. It's so good. It's just taking me a long time to get through because it's a pretty long book. But after that, I am going to read, I should finish in the next few days, but after that, I'm actually reading a puppy training book because I'm getting a puppy soon, Lulu, as you can see in the drawing. Which is so exciting. I think it's like Zach George's dog training revolution, something like that. I don't know. I just need to kind of figure out what I'm doing, how to do it, how to be a dog mom, exciting stuff. But after that, I've also been eyeing reading Landline by Rainbow Rowell. I bought it nearly a year ago, actually, whenever it was like my boyfriend and I got lunch, and we also went to Half Price Books. And I bought this book because I've been wanting to read it for even a few years before then, but never got around to it. Got the book, and it's been sitting on my shelf for the past year. And like right after we did that, it was when we had to go home because of the pandemic during spring break of my senior year. So it'll be interesting to finally sit down and read that because I've had it for so long. I think it'll be a pretty fast fiction read, and I'm looking forward to it. And overall, I'll just link a bunch of my upcoming books in the description of the podcast, kind of what I've got planned to read. And of course, don't forget to add me on Goodreads to keep up with what I'm reading. And if you want some good ideas for books to check out, I do a pretty good job of updating my Goodreads and my list of like books to read. So if you want some ideas, you should definitely check it out. So now, we are going to talk about not feeling like making art and my art ramblings for the week. So again, I mean, before I get into all of that, just kind of talking a little bit about what I worked on, like this art piece that I'm doing on the video right now. First of all, I want to apologize for the horrible state of my nails. I ended up cleaning my nail polish off after recording part of this because I was so upset with myself for not having nice nails for the camera, or like I'd rather have like no nail polish on, but not this chipped mess. So anyway, my apologies. But in this one, I just did camera roll crumbs, so just little bits of important parts from my past week or so. I have this cute little headshot of Lulu. And then one of the little chibis for the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes. Don't know how I feel about the style of it, like the artistic style. I think I like it now. It's starting to grow on me, but at first I was like, ugh, that's interesting. But it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited for it. Again, it means a lot to me, like just the game overall. So it'll be nice to be able to have it on my Switch. I also have a phone that is like a picture of a phone that I took of like my high school soccer team during one of their playoff games, just because my mom had it on. This weird structure. I also, that was at like my dentist office. And then I also, let's see, I've got a sad Trader Joe's flower because it's just something between me and my friend Kara that we laugh about because she had one of these and they look really cute for like a moment. I don't know if you have them at your Trader Joe's, but like they look really cute for a moment. They look really pretty. And then they just end up flopping over. And it's just like, it's kind of funny. They're like $2.99. So, I mean, you get a nice glass with it too. So maybe it's worth it. But anyway, I have that. And then I have the picture of me and Lulu when we first met. I thought it was really cute. And I kind of did more of a cartoony style with it, which I thought was fun. And the last thing is, why do owls look like that? is a thought that I had this week. And look like that, I mean, like, why do they look the way they do? Birds are crazy. Like, I don't know, there's like flamingos and they look totally different from owls who look totally different from penguins. It's just crazy to me. Something I was thinking about this week. So, and this owl I think is some like great horned owl, maybe, from the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center's Instagram. I think she nests every year at the center, and people can go check her out, and thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, those like horns, I don't think that's their ears, but like, anyway, owls are cool, birds are cool, but why do they look like that? Anyway, I wanted to talk about this week, like, not feeling like making art. And yeah, over the past week, I have barely made any art except for literally this like draw pod video. I have just been really busy with figuring out puppy stuff, because that was like, I was planning for it, but I also wasn't planning for it. And then also job stuff. Everything just kind of happened at once. But so I've been dealing with that. And then any free time that I have, I've been focusing more on reading. And yeah, but like on one hand, it's totally okay to not feel like making art. It is okay. I saw a great Instagram post that's been kind of going around that was reposted by my friend Alexis, just with this cute cat saying it's okay to not make art today. And for a while, I don't know, like over the past several months, art has been like my full-time job, in a way, just because, you know, I'm making these YouTube videos, making content for my Instagram, things like that. And I don't know. So in that way, I was like, it's weird because it was a job, but then also it's like art is something that makes me happy. And so I was just kind of a lot of the time confused about if it was okay to feel like not making it. And then usually if I'd force myself to do it, I would be happy about it. But yeah, I don't know. Now that it's going to be taking up more of a hobby capacity of my life, which is really what I want, I'm hoping that art is something that I can make into more of a habit. And I don't know. Interesting. But I do think there's a difference between not feeling like art, or like not feeling like making art for one day, and then also there's a difference between that and then feeling like there's a barrier set up between yourself and making art, which is a little bit how I feel. I feel a little bit of both, sort of. I know that art will always be there for me to come back to, but I also, know how happy it makes me whenever I do it. And it's kind of like with working out, sort of like you never really regret working out. Like it might be hard to start it, but you never regret doing it. You usually feel better after it. So yeah, I don't know. But on the other hand too, like on one hand it's okay, but on the other hand, I know how good it makes me feel, like I said, and I just know, I talked about this earlier, but I know how awesome it's going to feel. Just be done with work for the day, and then I can just have my art and my puppy waiting for me at home, and I can finally just not feel guilty about making art all of the time, or like in my free time that I have. So while I'm also building good like work routine habits, like waking up early, I'm starting to wake up at about like 6 a.m. every morning. I feel like I also should be building the habit of making art and like kind of treating it like exercise in a way, like I mentioned earlier. And all it really takes for me is a little bit of sketching and I get back into it, but it's something that you do have to maintain for sure. And also I wanted to talk about kind of how I plan to get back into it a little bit. To me, watching Furry Little Peach vlogs and other art YouTubers generally gets me pretty excited. I like watching studio vlogs. I think they're so much fun. That's why I like to make them. And then I also know that I'm really looking forward to filming the draw pod, or like I wrote out this like script or these notes before I filmed this, but I was writing that like I knew I'd be excited to do this because a new Simply Nailogical podcast just came out, and I tend to associate making art with watching that podcast. That's just kind of like a weekly routine for me that I do. And I really like that podcast. Very easy to listen to, very relaxing. So yeah, and it's just all about starting and just doing it. Another thing that has helped me in the past that I think I've talked about is like leaving out paints on your desk, to take the stress out of it. Like if you want to be doing more ink painting, like I have these colored inks that I haven't touched in a few months. Maybe I should just leave them open on my desk with brushes ready to go, clean water cups, and there's so much less of a barrier up there, like, for me to start. So that's a pretty much foolproof plan, or like way to get my art going again. Let's see. And then I've also thought maybe about like getting a little sketchbook and keep it by my bed like I do with my journal. Again, like I said, it's all about making it available for yourself to work on. So I started being really good at journaling every night because I made a point to put it by my bed and where I can write all my thoughts out and have a pen over there and just really have no excuse not to. So yeah, and then another thing that tends to help me out as well is reading from my art book that I have. It's that watercolor book. I'll link it also in the description of the podcast, but it is about watercolor, and I don't know, just absorbing. If I'm having a hard time working on art or thinking about starting art or anything like that, the most important thing for me to do usually is to just surround myself with art related content. And maybe that's also why I enjoy making stuff on this channel and doing the Draw Pod, because I, would love something like this to listen to while I am working on other things, maybe give me some ideas for art to do, or just, feel a little bit less alone when I'm getting work done. So anyway, those are kind of my thoughts on not feeling like making art and how I like try to start up again. As for anything else I've been thinking about this week, I start my job soon, and so I'm really wanting to focus on that and get a few things done before then. I need to maybe update my Redbubble a little bit. I turned like a painting of a rose into a sticker, and I think that looks really great. That's been getting some likes on Redbubble, which has been great. I also have an orchid drawing that I'm turning into a sticker, and I don't know if I can use any of these little things that I made, but I think I definitely want to do more camera roll crumbs kind of like this, so I can use these kind of as stickers in a way, or like they kind of lend themselves very much to being stickers. So I might need to try that. But yeah, I mean, my analytics on Redbubble have definitely been falling, because maybe it's because I haven't been as active, maybe because that's just how things go. I don't really know. I tried doing a little bit more advertising on Pinterest this month or last month, and when I decided to do that, that was because I wanted to learn more about Pinterest, and just 'cause I'm very interested in Pinterest. And I watched the like Pinterest Presents event, and I just wanted to see kind of the effect of making ads for both like my YouTube channel and for my my art Instagram and for my Redbubble. So I tried like all of those to see kind of if that would bring more views, more traffic. It was a promoted pin, not quite like an ad, but yeah, I need to look over the analytics for that, but I think it's always very interesting, and it's been a very good tool for me to at least drive traffic to my Redbubble page. I always see an increase. Like obviously there's been a decrease in my analytics a little bit on Redbubble over the past few months, but it would have been a lot lower if I hadn't done this Pinterest thing. So anyway, overall, if you are someone who does make stuff for Redbubble, I think it's if you want to just try it out and see if it works and spend some money on that, I think that it's one of the cheaper ways to get views on your page or on your site or to some of your specific stickers. That's kind of more important than just like your shop, people coming to your shop. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on, kind of stuff I need to do. I'm finally getting this up and my YouTube video up for next week, and then I will, as I've said, be taking kind of a bit of a pause on things just to, start getting things together in my life, and then I shall return. So no worries on that. But that's pretty much it for the Draw Pod for this week. Thank you so much for listening, and love your ears, love your time. Thank you for spending it with me. I will see you at some point. I usually say I'll see you next week for the next episode, but not sure if that'll happen. But anyway, thank you for supporting me, standing by me, and listening to me over the past few months talk about my journey with postgrad things and art things, and there are going to be plenty of art things in the future. So anyway, we'll talk to you later. Bye.